Good morning. On behalf of the Spintelligent team, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to Smart Energy International 2010, where we are connecting our world of energy. We'll be starting off with a couple of dynamic keynote speakers and a really interesting panel session in just a moment, followed by the rest of the conference and the rest of the day. As many of you may recall, over the last 4 years, we've held smart energy events on the East Coast and the West Coast in the U.S. This year, however, we wanted to do things a little differently. We took a look at the current marketplace, we spoke with some of our customers, and we decided a few things. One was that we felt we could do a better job for our delegates and our customers by focusing our research and content development efforts, which actually is a pretty extensive part of what we do. We wanted to focus that on a single event instead of two. We also felt that there are arguably, and I think some of you will agree, too many events in the smart energy and smart grid market. So we thought that being part of the solution as opposed to part of the problem, by combining two events into one here, would be a refreshing message for us to bring to the market. So that's the track that we're on. A third area of change this year is we have a broader international focus on what is an increasingly global market with lessons learned and experiences to share that would benefit all of us. With offices and smart energy and smart grid events literally all around the world, we felt that we were in a great position to bring this global perspective and audience to the smart energy market. The results of these changes that we've implemented are what we have here today in San Jose. The number of delegates here at Smart Energy International this week is double the combined total of events from last year's East and West Coast events. So we really appreciate everybody coming to San Jose. Also, among the delegates here at the conference, we have delegates from 17 different countries. So you'll see a lot of our international delegates in the sessions and things. So we extend a special welcome to our international guests. A third shift this year is, again, in the content that our team has put together. We think that after the next 2 days, you all agree this is truly an outstanding program that is targeted, timely, engaging, and world-class. Now, putting together an event like this requires a lot of hard work from a lot of different people, many of whom I would like to take a moment to thank right now. The first are our sponsors. Our platinum sponsor, Oracle Utilities. Our gold sponsors, Itron and Silver Spring Networks. Our silver sponsors, Aclara, Inspiria Solutions, Olameter, and Trilliant, and our bronze sponsors, BPL Global, Dresser-Rand, and ICE Energy. We truly couldn't put these events on without the support of our sponsors, so we appreciate their support. We hope and suggest that you all take advantage of the opportunities during the various breaks, lunches, and receptions over the next couple of days to meet with these folks and learn about the latest smart energy technologies and solutions. The next thing we would like to do is thank the Smart Energy International Advisory Board. The seeds of this event were planted in San Jose in January when we held our first advisory board meeting right here in this hotel. We greatly appreciate and frankly are flattered by the commitment of the board members, many of whom went to great lengths to participate and help make this conference what it is today. So from that January meeting and a subsequent board meeting in San Diego in March, we developed the basis for much of the program that we're going to be working with over the next couple of days. At the heart of this program is our theme, Connecting Our World of Energy, which speaks to the mission of the conference and the three focus areas which are also the basis for the main tracks of the conference: energy sustainability, operational excellence, and customer engagement. You'll see that in your programs, and you'll hear that throughout the next couple of days. We've also been very fortunate to bring on some additional expertise to launch the Smart Energy Storage Summit, which is co-located here this week as well. You'll see that in the program also. I would be remiss if I did not take a moment to recognize a third group here today. This is the Spintelligent North American team, most of whom are with us today. This team has been hard at work behind the scenes for many long days and in some cases nights in putting together the mind-boggling details that go into making an event like this successful. So I thank them truly for their hard work, creativity, and teamwork in making this a success. And as you can imagine, with our offices literally all around the world, it requires a lot of coordination and hard work. So they've done a great job. And by the way, we all have the staff ribbon on our badges. So if there's anything we can do to make this conference a better experience for you, please do let us know. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, Smart Energy International is built on this Connecting Our World of Energy theme with this foundation of the three core focus areas. Again, energy sustainability, operational excellence, and customer engagement. If we can stop just for a moment and think about these three areas of focus, it really does tell a bit of a story as to where we are today as an industry as opposed to where we were, say, 20 years ago. Like many of you here in the room, I've been around the industry long enough to see some profound changes in the marketplace. In my case, it was starting as a utility IT and automation market analyst nearly 21 years ago. At that time, we would study a specific market segment and do reports and things of that nature. And the markets were pretty well defined and relatively easy relative to today's market, relatively easy to assess in terms of the size, direction, and dynamics of that particular market. For example, we would do a study of a technology area like maybe the North American electric utility SCADA market, where a typical system replacement was fairly quantifiable and manageable from an analyst's perspective. Any system replacement would have its challenges, but those challenges were typically mostly or exclusively technical issues. The common practice back then, for instance, was to forklift out the old system every 8 to 12 years and then drop in the new one. Not a trivial task, certainly not as simple as I've just made it sound. But the challenges were generally solved by engineers and managed by engineers. Once that system was up and running, it would be run by those same engineers plus some operations folks. And as for the data in those systems, and this is very, very pertinent for what we're discussing here this week, as for the data, well, don't even think about touching it, because this was the real-time SCADA data that no one else in the organization would even know what to do with. So just keep your hands off our data. Thank you very much. That's a refrain we heard repeatedly. Now, I compare this today to the typical smart grid project. And I know some of you are going to say, wait a minute, there is no such thing as a typical smart grid project. But just for purposes of examining the differences here, just humor me for a minute. Whereas back in the good old days, a project's beginning, middle, and end was almost exclusively about technical issues, the world of the smart grid and smart energy encompasses a broad range of issues, constituencies inside and outside of the utility, regulatory and political issues, finances, and environmental concerns. The engineers, of course, are still knee-deep in these projects, but so are the IT guys, the telecom guys, community relations, marketing, customer service, the CIO, the CFO. And as for that data that we talked about before, it's not that the engineers don't want anybody touching it. It's that there's so much more of it that they're figuring out what they need and what they don't need. And also, we're finding new ways to use this data every day. And again, we're going to hear a lot about that over the next couple of days. And those are issues just inside the utility. We now have numerous government agencies that have current practices and or pending proposals to regulate, fund, and tax energy and utilities at levels that are quite unprecedented. Then there are the community groups, consumer groups, third-party power producers that need to be engaged, municipal leaders rolling out electric vehicle charging station networks, and the list goes on. And just as an aside here, when I was preparing this and doing some catch-up work in my hotel room over the last couple of days, I had the news on. And in the background, a story came up where the headline of the news story was, "Smart meters run amok." And then they proceeded to talk about how smart meters are interfering with everyday life, ranging from baby monitors to garage door openers. So, like I said, every day seemingly brings with it a new challenge. So now that I've painted this picture of this challenging landscape of the smart energy ecosystem, let's make a turn here so I don't paint us right into a corner. I would be so bold as to suggest that those old system forklift projects were not the good old days. These are the good old days today. The challenges have never been greater, but neither have the opportunities. Opportunities to push the limits of technology. Opportunities to ask what if in a very big way. Opportunities to engage our communities in long-term solutions. Opportunities to fundamentally change the energy infrastructure, not only for our country, but for perhaps the entire world for the better. And opportunities to leave the world a better place for our children and grandchildren. We think that over the next 2 days, we'll all be taking a small glimpse into this bold new world of smart energy. And we're all delighted to have you here with us for this journey.